Alright, we should be live now. What is up, everyone? Happy Wednesday, if you are from the US anyways. Maybe not Wednesday if you're in other parts of the world. But what's up? How's everyone doing? Let's see, who do we got in the chat? Who was first today? We got Craig Lilly with the first message when the stream notification went out. What's up, Craig? Jason Whitmer, who thinks he's first, but he's actually second. He says, I disregard Craig, so I'm first now. That's how it works. What's up, Stank2on7? What's up, Brett, who stopped by earlier, but he may not be here anymore. But what's up, regardless? Shane Eslick, what's up? What's up? We got Demon Mitt, what's up, nerds? He says. Cammy Hudson, Shane Eslick had a monitor from his test bench blow up, which is interesting. He said it was an older monitor. Cammy Hudson, what's up? Who you got a 32-inch 1440p 144Hz monitor. Nice. It's on a backup system, unused. I use a 27-inch 1080p 141st as the main. I really like the monitor over the 32. 32 I feel is like getting kind of big. The only reason I would want a monitor bigger than like 27 is if it was ultra wide. I don't think I could do a 32 16:9 in front of my face. My ultra wide is 34 inches because that's the equivalent height to a up and down dimension to a 27 inch. So yeah, I am team 27 inch or 34 inch ultra wide. But who else we have? What's up, Justin Alexander? And Justin, I could have sworn I saw a notification for channel memberships. Well, I don't know why it doesn't have like a little channel membership badge for you, but it says you are a 9 times Narna big budget supporter, so that's weird. I hope that's not YouTube messing up. But let's see, who else we got? We got Donut Farmer, what's up? We got Coalition Gaming Chris in the house, KL130 as always. We got Kelikona, our called, you are not late. We start at 5 p.m. PDT, so we've only been starting for like the last couple of minutes. So yeah, we usually just spend the beginning of the streams just chilling, because we do get a lot of membership renewals, just because for the people who have been renewing since the start, it started during like around stream time. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm gonna also play all the ones that happened within the last week. So okay, so while those are playing, we're just gonna chill and chat. Lovin' 8, no maidens. What do you mean by no maidens? What doth thou mean? Bonjour, how's everything going? Says Rampolius. Everything's going good. It's going well. How's everyone else doing? Drinking out of my broken LTT water bottle because I dropped it and I broke the part of the cap. So now these two pieces are separated. Coalition Gaming Chris, driving home from work as always, but work included 3 hours of driving today. We paid to drive. That's relaxing. Hopefully you were able to listen to something in the background. Jason says, I'm using a 48. 48 inches. I need to rewatch your setup video. I didn't think that was a 48 that you showed in it. Yeah, that seems really big. Ooh, I do have a 3D printer, Brett. I rarely use it. But, wow, Linus is that famous that there's 3D print files for his merch. Okay, let me pull this up. Let me see. 3D print LTT water bottle cap. Boom. Here it is. Whoa, this is one of those slider style ones too. This is actually pretty cool. So it looks like it's how many pieces? 4 pieces. Oh, hopefully my printer is good enough where after it prints, it's it can have a good seal and everything. I might have to use rubber O-rings and stuff, just because I have a Creality Ender 5 Pro, one of those. Print it in green, bro. I just have the white default filament. But interesting. I might have to try to print this. I mean, this still effectively works pretty well. Because there's no leakage. It's just, let me see if I can, come on, get the focus. Come on, Sony camera. Oh, Sony cam, I'm disappointed in you. There's no face on the screen. Why aren't you picking up the focus? But yeah, this still works just fine. But having one with a sliding lid so that I don't have to unscrew every time for one-handed operation, that would be pretty convenient. Yeah, the LTT water bottle wasn't Linus proof. Actually, I dropped it on my driveway. So it wasn't like I dropped it indoors. I dropped it from the top of my car. My car's not the biggest, you know, it's a Yaris. But it was probably like, what is that? Like a 4.5 foot drop, 4.5 or 5 foot drop onto my driveway. So yeah, just landed at that wrong angle. Normally, if this drops, if it hits anything but the cap, if it hit any metal portion, it would have been fine. But yeah. Let's see. Brett says 32 inches great for leaning back while gaming. Super into 40. Super for that ad. Wait. Super into 42 inch for that ad well. Am I reading that wrong? Am I super into ad well? Did I miss some context, or is he referring to, yeah, for that? Oh, as well, duh. Sorry. Okay, I think that's a typo. Super into 42 for that as well. Okay, so Brett likes 32 inches and 42 inches so that when you lean back, yeah, it makes sense. If you lean back, then I guess that doesn't seem that large, and it does give you some space. Whereas I guess if you have like a 27 inch, and if you want to just sit back and kick your feet up and stuff, then it could feel a little small. Yeah, I can't believe that one letter threw me off so much because you're a content creator, Brett. I was thinking like, wait, did you like do like a ad for a 42-inch monitor or 42-inch TV on a video recently that I'm like not getting the reference to? So that's how my stupid brain worked, because I made that connection of you being a content creator who also does, you know, sponsors and pre-rolls. So I was like, an ad? 27 inches is small. No, 27 inches is if you're sitting at the computer, you know, in the ergonomically correct 90-degree angle on everything, then I think 27 is right. You did do an ad for a 42-inch monitor. See? And it was a typo. Wow. It just works out like that. Let's see. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Can't wait to see you use the footage of us getting out of the car. Yeah, so the footage of us getting out of the car, that's gonna be in the LTX vlog thing, which, dude, so I still am trying to get LTX content out. I hope I'm not too late. I feel like the hype of LTX, you know, it's been coming up on, it's been a week and a half since LTX has happened. So hopefully me still releasing some content that I did from there doesn't just get, I guess my latest video with the contest at LTX isn't performing as well as I hope it would. But hopefully this next one does at least better than that one. But yeah. What up? Waiting to pick up a case off Facebook Marketplace. Shauner, where are you meeting up with them? You meeting in like a parking lot of somewhere, or and what case? Kale130 says no more buying stuff for me until my current stuff breaks. Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of people in the whole tech space and you know, gadgets and gizmos and stuff like that, we always are trying to look for the next thing to buy. Even though you buy something, that instant gratification feeling kind of goes away. I don't know. Depends on what it is, but I feel like it goes away within like a week or two. typically, let's say you build a new computer and you're like awing at it. Eventually, it becomes just, you know, that thing sitting in your room or whatever. Sure, you use it a lot, but that feeling, that new feeling of it, and that super excitement, that starts to fade. So then you start chasing your next high as, what's the next thing you want to buy, right? So I must admit that I actually just had that happen this past weekend. And I think it was the last stream, I was just talking about my camera gear, and I was like, you know what, I don't need expensive cameras and stuff like that. But we were bored this weekend, and I just found out there was a camera store, like a really well-known camera store, pretty local to me. It's called Kenmore Camera. So I was like, you know what? Me and Melissa, we were bored, didn't really have much to do. So I was like, let's go stop by and go take a look at some cameras. And then I ended up upgrading my cameras. This is my like first major upgrade ever since doing YouTube. Actually, no, I take that back. Ever since my first year, because I upgraded after about a year to like a Canon Rebel budget camera. But this is like my first, what I would call expensive camera, even though some people may not think it is. But this is my new camera, which I have been in. So I went to Kenmore Camera. I saw the cameras there. I was intending to go in and spend less than $1,000, but then they had to show me this thing. This is the Canon R7. So they showed this to me, and I was like, oh no. They were having a sale and a rebate on it, so it's $200 off of what it typically goes for. And at first, I told the clerk that I needed some time to think about it, because I was not expecting to go in and spend over $1,000 on a camera. This was $1,300, by the way, before tax. I told him that because what I actually wanted to do was go look on my local marketplace to see if I could find a used one or look on eBay and stuff like that. So I looked, and basically, this camera is only a year old. It came out in 2022. I was looking, and pretty much all the cameras that I could find for used or refurbished was only like $100 discount. And I like for the eBay ones, I would have had to wait on the bids and stuff. So I didn't know how much higher it would have gone. So basically, unfortunately, because this camera's so new, not many people have either returned or sold them or are looking to sell them. But yeah, so I upgraded to this, mainly, for this has like in-camera stabilization, in-body stabilization, which is huge for when I do, like, cause I was looking at the LTX footage, when I'm like doing this with the camera and walking around, it's like, it's pretty shaky. Also in LAN party stories videos, like, because it's live vlogging, it is pretty shaky. So in-body stabilization, which is what my old camera didn't have, is huge for this. So that was one of the major reasons I wanted to upgrade. Another reason is because this has dual SIMs. This is my first time ever having a dual SIM camera. So in terms of redundancy, that's not focusing, but yeah, it has dual SIM slots. So in terms of, you know, losing footage from events that you can't reproduce, that is pretty huge. So I thought it was worth the investment to get something that had dual SIMs so that I don't lose footage. On top of that, this does have 4K capabilities. I don't plan on using 4K anytime soon though, just because the space it takes up. But I do have the option now. What else is good about this camera? There's a lot of other good stuff that I cannot think about. But yeah, so yeah, in terms of like going on a tangent now, chasing that next high, this has been my big thing of excitement. But hopefully, you know, I get as much use out of it as I did my old Canon T7i, which I did list for sale, by the way. I'm trying to sell it. Man, camera gear, they keep their value. Oh, did I say SIM slots? If I said SIM slots, whoops. Yes, I meant SD card slots. Did I really say SIMs? Yeah, SD card slots. Yeah. This is mirrorless. This is not DSLR. Did I just call this a DSLR too? See, that's how much of a camera noob I am. If I said DSLR, I meant is a mirrorless, but I meant this like large, I guess, body style of camera as opposed to point and shoots. But yeah, we're just chilling right now, waiting for people to get their drinks, get their stuff before we talk about the PC tech. So I was just going over my camera gear. Also, I did want to say, So while I was at LTX, I did meet up with some of the Jawa reps. So they gave me some of these. These are, come on, focus. Chris, your Sony camera's not focusing. No, but so they gave me some of these cards. These are, these have codes on them. Let me try to hide it. But basically, there's codes to save $20 off. I don't believe there's a minimum spending limit. This is just $20 off your next purchase. So I will be sharing these codes during the stream. If you guys want to go over to jawa.gg, obviously, unfortunately, if you are not in the US, then you cannot make use of these codes. So sorry, until Jawa expands to your region, then you can't use these. But if you guys want to take a look at Jawa, see anything that you might want to find to buy, I think this is just $20 off. So if you buy something exactly $20, it will just be free, or you just pay for shipping. So yeah, I'm gonna be sharing these. Actually, I'll share one right now. Yeah, this camera, it has a hard time focusing on non-face stuff. Like if I try to put stuff that's not a face in front of it, it has a hard time trying to autofocus. It still sees my face in the background, but if I put my face up close, I think it does a decent job. Yeah, see, that just focused pretty quickly. Okay, so the way that I'm gonna do one right now, actually, for the early birds. So the way these work is that it's not like you just apply it and then it goes onto your account. This is applied at checkout. So you guys need to find stuff that you want to buy like right now, because the first person to actually check out with the code is the one who activates it, if I'm understanding this correctly. So here is the first code. I'm just going to show it on screen. I'll read it out loud too, if it will focus. Come on. Yo, this Sony cam is just not focusing. Alright, so LTX IY 53T9. That is the first code. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, Chris. So with regarding the firmware, I was hesitant to update the firmware on this because I heard that Canon's doing this thing where like they don't want third-party manufacturers of lens and stuff. So I heard they've been killing like the electronic like autofocus and stuff support if you use either third-party adapters or lenses. So I've been hesitant to update the firmware, though I know that the in-body stabilization, that was one of the things in the latest firmware. So I'm like juggling back and forth whether or not I should update or not. But yeah, I did hear that. Mason says, headed to QuakeCon tomorrow. When does QuakeCon start? What day does it start? Does that start on Thursdays? Another creator, Braythorn, who I was supposed to stream with this week, he's actually headed to QuakeCon as well. So that's why we were supposed to look at pre-built PCs today, but because he couldn't, I had to come up with a different topic, which we're gonna look at in a second here with the 7700 XTs. But yeah, have fun at QuakeCon, and I love that you binge watch the LAN party stories to get prepped for it, to get hyped up. So yeah. Also, if you guys do end up getting this code works, let me know if it let me know if you are the person who redeemed it. So there's one gone. I'm gonna fold this now so I know that it's used up. Can you find decent PSUs on Jawas? I've never used Jawa. Jawa actually has some let me see. They have all power supplies. If we want to look at the cheapest power supply we can find, so as always we're gonna sort by lowest price. I know they were trying to work with some actual like Enermax. So they do work with Enermax to sell directly on the site. And I know Jawa's been trying to work with other basically manufacturers to sell directly on Jawa. So let me see. So let's say the Cyberbron 500 watt. So this one's listed for $50. Which, I mean, that's pretty typical for how crappy power supply prices are right now. So this would be 30, but let's take a look at the tier list. The Cyberbron, I forget where that was listed on there. I think that might be, is that a C or is that worse? Cyberbron Max Pro, Enermax Cyberbron, okay. Oh, that's an E tier, never mind. So you would want to keep looking through if you were looking for a power supply. Gamdius Kratos 750 for 75 bucks. Let's see. The Kratos. AMD's Kratos is also in a void, man. Wait, Kratos P1 is C tier. What is this one? Is the M1. The M1, yep, it's on here as a void. So, power supplies is not looking too good right now. Oh, Revolution, here we go. Revolution DF. This one's I believe it's the A tier. Alright, Enermax Revolution DF. DF2. At worst, it is a B tier. At best, it depends on which model it is A tier. So this one's 650 watts. You can get this for 60 bucks for 80 plus gold A tier power supply. That would be a good deal to pick up using this Jawa code. So like this one right here. How good Jawa compared to Facebook Marketplace? So Jawa is different than Facebook Marketplace because I feel like Facebook Marketplace is for my uses. When I use Facebook Marketplace, I'm not buying stuff on there that is being shipped in from across the country. I know some people do that, but I don't know. I prefer Facebook Marketplace to be used like how Craigslist used to be used back in the day, or OfferUp or something. I prefer it to be a local meetup. I don't know why. Facebook these days is just filled with a bunch of bot accounts and scammers. So I want to see stuff in person before I buy it. This is not to say that, you know, online listings for Facebook Marketplace ads or like for like components or whatever you're trying to buy is all scams and fake. It's just from what I've seen a lot of scams and stuff. So I'm just trying to protect myself for that. And then quickly, Dedix, thank you for the membership join. I appreciate that. What about decent GPUs? So let's take a look at GPUs real quick before we go into the main topics of today's stream. Let's see, lowest price. So if you look at lowest price, you're gonna be finding a lot of stuff that at the bottom end anyways. G750, yeah, or 570. So these are pretty old. I mean, here's the RX 580 8GB for, let me zoom in on this so you can see better. 580 8GB for 60 bucks. That's actually not that bad. Let's see, shipping, sure. So 10 bucks shipping. So this would have been 60, 70 bucks. So 50 bucks for RX 580 8GB. That's actually not that bad. That's gonna be cheaper than eBay. And this is like not one of those Chinese lower, what's it called? Lower stream processors versions. 480 for 65. So let me see for anything that's like kind of newer, like 1070. Look at this. Wow, this actually is really cheap. GTX 1070. I'm assuming there's only used few months, haven't had a GPU very long. Okay, sure. I mean, it might be a mining card. I don't think the total usage of this would only be a few months. That'd be pretty rare for 1070, which is how many years old by this point? Like 6 years old now? 6 or 7 years old. But still, 80 bucks with 1665 shipping, depending on where you live, that could be cheaper. Take 20 bucks off of that. So that would be a really good deal. So yeah. If I can snag a code, I think I know. Oh wait, is the other code used up already? Did anyone use up the first code? Kale, if you scroll up, you might be able to find the other code. I don't know if it's used yet, so just get the stuff in your carts ready. But I'll be giving out more codes during the stream. But let's get into the main topic of today's video, today's stream, which is the mid-range AMD GPUs that are upcoming, I would guess. So actually, after last week's stream, I think it was like the day after, Power Color leaked something, and this is Video Cards reporting on it. So this was how many days ago? August 3rd. So yeah, this was Thursday last week. So we just missed it on the stream. But the Power Color Red Devil 7800 XT has been revealed. So 7800 XT, that's gonna be, I consider this not necessarily mid-range, but kind of like on the edge of higher end enthusiasts, especially since pricing for these have generally been pretty high, starting off in like the $600-ish price range. I would say 500 and below is what I would be targeting for mid-range, which is what like the 6700 XT and 7700 XT is what it's going to come in at. But let's first talk about the RX 7800 XT. So 16 gigabytes. Let's see. They have the specs on here. And if we take a look, let me zoom in on this real quick. So this is the sad state of AMD's current release graphics cards right now. So they, for the most part, they released these two, remember, back early, in December, the end of last year. And then they released this a couple of months ago, the 7600. So I don't really count the 7900 GRE because that's not available in all markets. I think this is only available in like Asia and Europe from what I've seen. I couldn't find it on the Newegg and Amazon US. But yeah, so you go from a 7900 XT to 7600. That's all they've had up to this point for like the masses. Now, if we take a look at what that performance is, so if we look at just like a basic GPU, this is at 1080p. Let's look at 1440p. 1440p Ultra. So let's take a look at this side of the chart specifically, right? If we see, you know, both NVIDIA and AMD, this is like the current gen. Let me move this out of the way so you guys can see it. So yeah, if we look at this here, this is like the latest gen cards and the comparison to all the previous gens. We have the 4090 and then the 7900 XTX, 7900 XT. Then there's like this huge gap over here, all the way down to... Oh, did they not even test the... Where's the 7600 on this chart? Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's right here on the left. I was looking mainly on the right. So yeah, you have this huge gap in performance where NVIDIA has actually kind of filled it out pretty nicely. Between the 4080 and the 4060, you know, you got the 4070 Ti, the 4070 and 4060 Ti that kind of fill in this slot. But AMD, you have this big, massive gap right here, all the way down to this. So hopefully with the 7800 XT and 7700 XT releases, we do start filling the gaps here. It would be nice if it actually fills in between the NVIDIA slots, because we do have still some pretty big holes even between the NVIDIA cards themselves. So yeah. Shane Essex says 7900 GRE gotta rescue errors. So the GRE, I think that stood for Golden Rabbit Edition, right? Was that correct, or is that that article that I read about that wrong? But either way, I don't feel it's like one of those, like, oh, I would categorize the GRE card similar to like the only, remember when we got those CPUs that were only available for like OEMs and stuff like that, not available to the masses. I don't really count that. So we take a look at the comparison between these two. If we look at the specs, so in terms of the power, it's gonna be two 8-pins, so still standard. Let's see, board power has not been shared yet, so I mean, we're gonna look at everything else is kind of in the middle. If we look at like let's see, the stream processors, the GPU clusters, boost clock, we can kind of ignore because that's not really representative. If anything, the lower end cards usually have higher boost clocks because they have less stream processors and cores. So it's going to be 16 gigabytes, 256-bit bus, which is fine. Let's see, 18 gigabits per second memory speed. So in terms of the bandwidth, that looks to be right in between. Like, if you look at the numbers on the 7900 XT and the 7600, almost everything on this falls right between it. Like 60 is somewhat halfway between 32 and 80. 3840 is somewhere in between 2000 and about 5300. So it's gonna. So if we take a look back at the performance, if it's right in the middle between these two, if I had to guess, just based on the specs alone and not anything else, what are we gonna be looking at here? So if it fell right in between, ooh, that would not be that good if it fell below a 4070. Now, this does not talk about ray tracing, so I don't really... So if it fell right here, between the two, just based on specs, which is not going to be linear, then that would be kind of sad for a 7800 XT to be below 4070. But realistically, it's probably going to fall. I mean, if we look at the performance between like last gen, right, where is it at? The 6800 fell with regards to like the 3080 and the 3070 Ti. We would expect it to actually be probably around the 4070 Ti levels. Now, it's going to depend on the price because the 4070 Ti is pretty expensive. It is what? It was released at $800, but let's take a look at what the actual price is right now. 4070 Ti on Newegg. Why does AMD price their stuff so poorly? They need to be more aggressive if they want to stand a chance against NVIDIA. So I actually think, just looking at this 7800 XT, not knowing what the price is. Wait, did they say the price? No unexpected. Let me see if there's any $ price. Yeah, I don't think there's any price listed on here. But let's take a look at relative to the 4070 Ti, right? So a 4070 Ti, why is the 4070 Ti... Why is this not being listed here? Okay, so, wow, they haven't moved in price. So they are still $800. So going back to this, if we're trying to figure out, so here's the issue, right? Remember, the 7800 XT is going to be worse than the 7900 XT. Do you want to know how much the 7900 XT costs right now? The 7900 XT you can find for as low as $750 right now on Newegg. So if we just do some kind of like interpolation and kind of guesstimations, right? We know the 7800 XT is going to be worse than the 7900 XT. We also know that it's going to be cheaper than it. It makes no sense if it released at within like $100 shot of it. So let's just assume, because the 7900 XT is $750, let's say it's $100 less at $650. $650, if we can get the performance of a 4070 Ti, right? I would say this gap, it looks like that would be reasonable. If the 7800 XT landed right here at $650, that would be, so it would be on par with the 4070 Ti, which is still $800. You're getting $150 off. Though you're gonna be, again, with the disclaimer, that's rasterization performance. You're gonna be losing on ray tracing as always. You don't get DLSS 3, frame generation. You don't get RTX voice and all those other things. So, do you guys think $650 for a 4070 Ti performance level is good? I'm gonna ask a poll. So we're going to ask that as the first poll of the night. All right, what are people saying? Who needs a 7800 when you get an RX 580 for $60? Okay, Brett says, the only problem is that the 6950 XT has been hovering there for a while, so it's not a ton of incentive to switch. Yes, so if people have like a last gen card already that's pretty decent, let's say you have like a 6800, or even a 6950 XT. Let's go back to the charts. And this is, of course, only one source for it. So the 6950 XT is already hovering. And this, people have made that comparison. I made that comparison in my benchmarks. And let's see what the current price of the 6950 XT is. 6950 XT, the cheapest one on Newegg right now is $630. So yeah. If it's $650, and let's just say it performs the exact same, the benefits you're getting from it is going to be the generational improvement over for ray tracing, even though it lags behind NVIDIA, but you do get, you know, that second gen ray tracing. But also the lower power consumption, which, I mean, I know a lot of people don't go too crazy about power consumption. That's probably because you live in the US and power is dirt cheap here. But lower power consumption at the end of the day could also save you on power supplies. You know, going from, let's say, 550 to a 650 or even 750 watt power supply, that's some cost that it gets factored in there. Now, you could say that's almost negligible because you should buy the biggest power supply anyways for future upgrades. But assuming people already have older systems with 2 or 3 gen old graphics cards, and all they want to do is pop in a new card, popping in a 6800 XT might be possible where a 6950 XT won't, depending on what the power consumption ends up being at the end of the day. So yeah, for more incentive, I think you're right, Brett. They definitely need to price it maybe at 600. I just feel like 600 seems a little bit too cheap. Let me take a look at, I forget what the MSRP of the 6800 XT was. It released at 650, see? So that 650 mark, it almost makes sense for them to do it at if they're going to keep on the trend of what they did last gen. It's just that maybe they kind of messed up because they reduced the price of last gen's like 6950 XT, for example, by so much now that it's not a clear-cut decision. But I mean, I guess as a consumer, we shouldn't complain about that, right? You're going to have choices. If you're in the market for, you know, the best graphics card you can get for 650, you're going to have two options now. The upcoming 7800 XT or the 6950 XT from last gen, which I think in that case, I would generally push people towards the newer gen card. People are, oh wait, whoops. Oh my god, I just messed up the poll and I didn't realize it till now. Let me re-ask this poll, jeez. See guys, I'm a total noob of a streamer. If you're gonna like look at a content creator to try to like, you know, get tips from and follow an example of, don't let it be me. Let it be someone like Brett or even Jason, who would never mess something like that up. All right, we're rerunning the poll. My bad on that. Yeah, that's also a good point too, Brett. So Brett says one of the things that I've been holding against AMD lately is that they shouldn't be pricing it to compete with Nvidia. They only have tiny market share. They need to price that like an underdog. Yeah, I would agree. And not only they shouldn't be pricing, if they are going to be pricing it against Nvidia, they need to take into account more than raster FPS. I know everyone complains and says like no one cares about it. We don't care about ray tracing. We don't care about DLSS. But that's still technology and features that have some dollar value to them. So if AMD is going to ignore Brett's advice about competing against Nvidia, if you are going to try to price against them, you have to give a dollar amount to those things so that when you do only look at the raster, the price has to come down quite a bit, you know, to make up for the fact that your ray tracing isn't, you know, up to par and that you don't have, you know, DLSS and frame generation, because Nvidia cards can use FSR. But yeah, they should definitely just price it well below if they want to win market share. You just gotta take the risk. We've seen other companies do that. Like pre-built companies, when they first enter the market and they have like 0 market share, they give like the craziest deals on all their pre-builts and stuff. Then after they make a name for themselves and, you know, people have heard of them, then they increase their prices. AMD isn't really in a position, if they want to move that market share needle, to keep their prices competitive only on raster. Intel's our only hope. Dude, Intel needs to release something that's better than the equivalent of a 3060 Ti and a 6600 XT. Because, actually, no. So here's actually something I wanted to talk about too. I've been seeing a lot of like Twitter discussion as well as like articles from these tech news outlets that AMD is killing their high-end graphics cards. Like, they're not going to focus on it anymore, or they're not going to try to compete against Nvidia at like the 4090 Ti levels anymore. They're just going to go for like mid-range to maybe upper mid-range, starting to get into enthusiast levels. Do you guys think that is a good or a bad thing? On one hand, I'm thinking like, if you look at the majority of PC gamers out there, I guarantee you less than 10% are using 4090 Ti or 4090 levels of hardware. Most people operate lower than that. But it kind of sets a precedence if you are a company, even though you have unaffordable stuff at the high end range, it sets a precedence that like, hey, we are the leaders in this space for this tech. Even though 90% of y'all don't even buy 4090s, we still have the best graphics cards out there, and it puts it into people's minds that they are, you know, the leaders, and that people go out and buy NVIDIA cards over AMD. I personally, because I do my own research on performance and stuff like that, I don't care if AMD doesn't release, like, you know, a 4090 equivalent or better. I operate usually within like the 6700 XT, you know, territory of graphics cards. I don't use more powerful graphics cards than that, and I would say pretty confidently that a majority of gamers out there don't use like the higher end stuff, higher than like a 4080. Yes, exactly. Chris is right. People surprised about where AMD wants to focus must not have been around for when Polaris launched. Yeah, so for AMD's Polaris lineup, right? Remember, the highest end card they went up to was an RX 590. And most of the people were using, I feel like RX 580s, 570s, and even to some degree 560s sold a decent amount because I see them all over the used marketplace. So someone must have been buying them for them to be for them to be popular in the used market. But yeah, so AMD has done this in the past. Whether or not, I don't have the history charts in front of me right now, so I can't say without like the data to back it up. But I feel like Polaris was a pretty successful line of GPUs for AMD. Most people looking back actually have pretty fond, positive memories on it. At the time, I think there were some people complaining about like driver issues and stuff like that. I was building systems with them and recommending them to friends and didn't really run into many driver issues. So I think that was definitely like a specific use case, you know, scenario that would have affected that. People be sleeping on that 570 though. Yeah, exactly. You could still use an RX 570 or 580 right now and play modern games at 1080p. Sure, you're gonna be playing at like medium to low settings, but for a card that's that old, that was considered mid-range at the time, and was, remember, the 480 and 580, they were MSRPing at what, like 200, 250 bucks? So yeah, they were super affordable back then. FG204 is still using a RX 470 right now. Dude, I will still happily build budget systems with 470s and 480s in them to this day. So, did Lisa Su ever invite you to a summit? No, that was only NVIDIA. Unfortunately, I wish AMD would have a summit and invited all the creators to. Intel needs to aim at making GPUs for streamers. They just need some technology to one day match NVIDIA. With that said, sadly, AI is going to be the focus. Yeah, so there's also a bunch of talk about NVIDIA focusing on AI and AI companies basically buying up. Someone made a short on it. Was it Zach? Was it Brett? Was it both of you guys? I know you guys make a ton of shorts. But yeah, it was either that or I saw it on a Twitter post or all three. AI startups and like AI companies, because there's, you know, with the whole crypto craze dying down and NVIDIA slowing down on the production for crypto specific stuff, people have been buying up graphics cards. So yeah, we'll see if this is the next GPU apocalypse. I don't think it really will be, but we'll see. It might be GPU apocalypse for like the high end stuff, because, you know, hopefully those companies are only targeting like and only NVIDIA cards, because they lead in AI. So you can have your fair share of AMD cards, as well as, you know, hopefully just the state of the art top tier stuff. Jay made a video too? Really? Dude, yeah, probably everyone made content on it, but I wouldn't compare GPU shortages due to the AI, at least for this generation. I wouldn't compare it to the crypto apocalypse, because for crypto, both NVIDIA and AMD and multiple generations of cards were very like sought after during that time period. But if this whole AI thing is gonna make a shortage, it's gonna be specifically hopefully on the most current gen Nvidia cards. So last gen, which is still perfectly viable, and AMD cards, if those are untouched, then we should be fine as like a community. Donut Farmer has the XFX 590 Fat Boy. What was the MSRP of that thing when that released? MSRP $279. Look at that. AMD's top end card. What year is this? 2018 it's looking like. Shauner says, what do we think of the... Oh, yo, is EVJ B stock? Do they have some... We'll get back to the 7700 XT in a second. So we just talked about the 7800 XT, but yo, if there's a... Is there a deal to be had? Is this all the B stock stuff? Okay, so Shauner says on B stock there is a... How much is it? 190? There's the Titan... What the heck? A mining specific no output 1060. Interesting. Look at this one. There's no ports on the back of it for HDMI or DisplayPort or anything. Mining specific 1060 for 190. That's an interesting price. But let me see. 1080 Ti for 190. Okay, so let me actually take a look. I feel like the 10 series cards have been dropping in price really quickly because you can get 1070s for like 110, 120 now. So a 1080 Ti, actually, let me look at the performance levels relative to, where is that? Okay, so we look at the performance. Let's just look at 1440p. 1080 Ti. 1080 Ti, so we're looking at 5700 XT, 2070, 6650 XT performance levels. A little bit less, actually between a 6650 and a 6600 or a 3060. So this is what I'm gonna I would take some reductions in price for being an older generation, like this old of a generation. Like if I'm gonna be looking at, if I can get a 3060 or a 6600 XT for that same price used, I would pick them over a 1080 Ti. So at $190, I think that's cutting it close because 6600 XTs aren't that much more than 200 bucks. So I would think the used market would have them for cheaper. But let's just take a look at what eBay has to say, because we usually take a look at eBay and then subtract some. So let's take a look at used ones. I'm leaning on no, don't get that. But we'll see here. So if you look at 1080 Ti specifically, you can find them. It runs hot at 87 degrees. Okay, that's fine. It's a reference card. This one's 140. But let's take a look at non-reference. Here we go. 170 for this looks like almost the same exact model. So here's my thing. Yeah, they are a touch cheaper on eBay. For used or refurbished hardware, I think eBay should be the highest price you should pay on anything. Any other website with less visibility, or even if you pick something up locally, should definitely be cheaper than eBay. So I would say no to the 1080 Ti on EVJ's B-Stock website. So there's some caveats with that though, because EVJ's website gives you a 1-year warranty. It is B-Stock, so at least it's been handled or refurbished by, official techs that, know what they're doing. Though, if you don't get that kind of warranty buying on eBay, but still, I would probably still lean towards the eBay if it's cheaper. It's going to depend on person to person, but are you the type of person who typically pays more so that you can get a warranty? Do you not trust other PC gamers or, you know, hardware sellers on eBay for mistreating their hardware. You gotta ask yourself questions like that and say, is the $20 price difference worth it? But I would say no in this case. DeathTech sells 1070s for 85 bucks. What is up, DeathTech? DeathTech is actually the person who gave me these Jawa coupons, which, by the way, did anyone use that first code I gave out yet? The LTXIY53T9 did anyone use that first one yet? If you've used it, or if you tried to use it and it said it was already claimed, we're gonna do another one with DeathTech in the house. Was that first code used yet? Death should have given you more coupons so that you could just use them all up. That's an abuse of your... Actually, no. I should change my name to Jawa Man. You should. Death Tech, aka Jawa Man. Nah, no one has a Jawa account. Oh, KO. Did you use that first code? Did it work? The $20 code. Because I'm about to drop the next code right now. I just want to make sure the first one was used up first. So that we're not just wasting them in the ether. If you sell stuff on Jawa, just buy your own stuff on another account with the coupons and repeat. Infinite money glitch. Nah, you're gonna lose to fees and shipping. You're not gonna make 20 bucks back from that. Okay, so Kale130 used the first code. What did you buy, Kale? Hey, what's up, Pinky Tech? Kale, what did you buy on Jawa? I'm just curious. And then we're gonna drop the next code in a second here. Brett always reads it as D the Tech. DEA the Tech. But shout out again to Death Tech for dropping this. Oh, yeah, and I am wearing the Jawa shirt. I think I did it purposefully, but I forgot to mention it. So yeah, they did hook me up with a Jawa. I do love this kind of, like, heather grayish type of shirt. It's nice and soft. It's nice and comfy. But Jawa shirt for the Jawa drops. And there were shirts. Alright, the next Jawa code. Hopefully you guys have whatever you want queued up in your cart, ready to go, ready to apply the code. Because the next $20 Jawa code is LTXN367J1. Can I get this camera to zoom in on this, please? It doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to. Come on. There it is. I got it. I got the zoom. LTXN367J1. $20 off. You bought a keyboard? Nice, KL130. Yo, hopefully some of y'all have stuff in your carts ready to go, because I don't want the same person claiming it over and over. Shauner says yoink. Did you... Wait, Shauner, did you just buy the motherboard using this code? Nice. Alright, there's a second code used. I still have 2 left. We'll see if we use them for this stream or in future streams. But again, thank you, Jawa, at LTX for hooking the viewers up with some $20 off discount codes. Also, I think some of y'all have plenty of times to get your carts loaded up. So, you know, don't get mad at Shauner or Kale for being fast and getting it. But yeah. Thank you for not claiming more than one, though, you guys. Okay, so back to graphics card talk. So people are saying it's a pretty 50-50 split. I'm going to end the poll. So the 7800 XT at $650, a good price. Assume it performs like a 4070 Ti in raster. It is almost an exact 50-50 split. And I guess my thoughts on it are that let's just say it performs similar to 6950 XT, which performs similar to 4070 Ti. I don't expect AMD to make the 7800 XT that much cheaper, if at all, than the 6950 XT, which we can find for $630 right now, because that completely like neutralizes and it basically kills off their 6950 XT, unless they put discounts on those as well. But those I feel like are priced pretty well. Pretty much everybody has come to an agreement that the 6950 XT at that price, at just above $600, is a really good price right now. So I don't think AMD has any incentive to lower the price even more, because us as a community, all the tech content creators, all the people in the comments and stuff like that, everyone, ever since the, NVIDIA has released the 4070 Ti and like up cards, and even AMD's newest releases, everyone has kind of come to the agreement that 6950 XT for $630, really good price. So why would AMD lower it anymore? So I don't think they'll lower the price. I think the 800 XT is going to come out at $650. Sure, it's not going to be cheaper, and it might not be better raster price to performance than the 6950 XT, but they are giving it to you with, lower power consumption, the latest gen tech, better ray tracing, I guess, if you care about that. And yeah, one more generation of driver supports, on the tail end of it. So I think at $650, I'm not going to say it's an amazing price, but I think it's a good price. If we're going to call the 6950 XT good, I would say the 7800 XT would also be good at $650. I think paying the extra $20 to have a 1-gen newer card, and to have, lower power consumption and all that stuff, I think that is a good price. It could be better, but again, they would have to restructure last gens and that, and they might do that actually. Let's say they release it at $600, they would definitely have to drop the price of the 6950 XT unless they don't want it to sell anymore. But yeah. Do you know if it does AV1 encoding and decoding? Are you talking about the 7800 XT? It does. If that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about a different card, then I don't know. Yeah, Death Tech. If you want to drop some codes, feel free. Yo, everybody, look out for Death Tech if he drops codes, because he is the one who gave me these cards in the first place. I think AMD's problems is half the cards are FUGLY. Whoa, Death. What are you talking about, bro? This isn't gonna be the render for it, but do you think this card is ugly? I like this design. Can I get a zoom in on these cards? Jeez. If you're talking about add-in board partner cards, maybe, but if we're talking about just reference design, like AMD cards, like straight from AMD, I like the look of these ones. Last gen was a little bit different. They've gone with like a more clean black aesthetic on this one. Reference doesn't count because they were unobtainium. Let's see, 67. I like the power color cards too. Like, Power Color is one of the major AMD brands, and so they have, let's see, here's the Red Devil, but then the Hellhound I thought looked really good. Which ugly cards were you talking about? Yeah, these Hellhound, I thought these looked really good. They did only have blue as their color. It wasn't RGB, but still. The Sapphire 7900 XTX Nitro. Yeah, I'm gonna need Death Tech to clarify which ugly AMD cards he's talking about within the last 2 generations. Yo, yeah, this Sapphire one, this is looking pretty nice. This is looking real nice, actually. Okay, let me get some more angles on this one. Yeah, I mean, this is super clean. If anything, this reminds me of like an ROG Strix card. It's like super clean. It's got that big RGB band. ASRock Challenger is wait. ASRock Challenger GPU. Which Challenger are we talking about? Oh, let's see. The 6650X, yeah. Okay. I don't know if I would say these are nasty AF. If anything, at least they could match into like an all black, you know, stealth build pretty well. Let me look at the backplate. I forget what the backplate on these ones look like. If it would load, stupid ASRock website. Let me see if I can get a like the 50. Yeah, so the 5000 series, yeah, I agree this was pretty ugly. But for the 6000 series, I didn't think it looked that bad. Here we go. It's I wouldn't say it's nasty AF. I would say it's pretty neutral. Sure, it has like some of these angles, like it's trying to be like a stealth, you know, a stealth bomber or something, but I don't think it looks that bad, especially since the fans are going to be facing down. So you're mostly going to be seeing the heat pipes facing you or this backplate on the top. The shroud is so much bigger than the heat sink. We talk with regards to how much, yeah. Or are you talking about to the PCB? ASRock cards, XFX cards, they're boring. Okay. I think boring is one thing, but ugly is another. But let's take XFX. Let's just look at their most current lineup. Graphics cards. 6000 series and 7000 series. Alright. So if you're going to be talking about the XFX cards, I actually kind of like these XFX super like minimalistic stealth out all black cards. And let me see what the 6000 yeah, man. Okay, I think we needed to change the vocabulary a bit. I don't think you guys think they're ugly. Thinking it's boring is perfectly fine, but I think it's pretty rare to have ugly graphics cards. Like this one, I mean, yeah, it's pretty plain, but this satisfies the minimalist people out there. There are a lot of people out there, believe it or not, who actually hate RGB and hate flashiness. They want to just, you know, build very clean, simple, sleek, stealth, black, or white, I guess, or whatever color aesthetics. And a card like this, I like the look of this card. I do agree that it's not super in your face and it doesn't have a bunch of like, you know, flashiness to it. But the simplicity and the simplistic side of me really like stuff like this. Do people actually like the look of the 10 series founders cards? Actually, I think I actually do. Yeah, I do. And this is because of it's hard to explain. I think it's more of like a uniqueness to it. Even though this does follow on the 900 and almost the 700 series cards too. Because if we look at like the 970 FE, they didn't look that different. Like here's the 970, and then this one gave it a little bit more angles on the 1070. I like the look of these cards. I do not like how loud the fans are and how quiet it is. I do like it because not many other graphics cards look like this. Like it has that iconic NVIDIA look to it, whereas stuff like this, well, not for XFX, but for like let's say MSI or Gigabyte or any of the other companies that make cards for both brands. You can't tell an MSI gaming like AMD card from an NVIDIA card. They have the same shroud and fans on them. Whereas something like this, it's like very iconic, and I don't know, to me it just looks cool. Oh, in the machine, you're right. So installed. Let me see if I can find it installed. So if you can see the fans and if you're showing it, it looks good. Yeah, like if you're doing this right here, it looks cool, but where is it laying sideways? So you don't like it when it's in the cart. Actually, this actually doesn't look that bad either to me. And I believe these had the back plate too, right? So I think I have one. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, can't find it. Yeah, I do have a 1070 laying around here somewhere. I forget what the back looks like. Oh yeah, it just had this, nope, that's a hybrid. Yeah, so it just had one of these plain black back plates, yeah. I like it reminds me of Shadow Moon from Kamen Rider. No. Okay, Pinky Texas didn't seem like you put a lot of effort. I didn't put a lot of effort because I went here. I'll show you guys. You want to look together? I don't know how good this is gonna be, and I'll show you why. The mic is gonna kind of cut out, but so that right there, that stack right there is the stuff, and I know it's not in that stack. That's current stuff. I rearranged the whole room to make that space back there for when I had to host my parents here. It's not on the left, is it? No. Yeah. Yeah, it's not there. So I thought I knew where it was, but then I forgot that when I rearranged everything, all my older graphics cards I put into like a box. So it's actually like below the tables in some box somewhere. So that's where, right when I walked over there, I was like, oh yeah, I rearranged. That's when I realized, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it just on the spot like this. Bro just got stacks of GPU. Okay. Every GPU is unique. I do not have any repeats of any GPUs, and I keep them on hand for the most part for when a new card comes out and I have to do my side-by-side testing, because every time I test graphics cards for like a new release for a review, I redo all the testing. I don't reuse old footage or old runs because of not only driver updates but updates in games. Like Hogwarts Legacy on launch with a certain card is not the same as Hogwarts Legacy right now. Same with like games like The Last of Us and stuff like that. So yeah, and don't worry, none of those graphics cards are super valuable. The highest end card I have is a either 6950 or a 4070 Ti. I do not have like high end graphics cards on hand. Yes, DefTech probably has way more GPUs than me. I am by no means a flexer. But yeah, that's how he stays. No, for me to be able to stay on a budget, I would need to sell those cards. The fact that I still have them, having graphics cards to test and sitting there is not the same as money in your pocket or money in the bank. So that is why I remain nerd on a budget. If I sold all of those, maybe I'll be nerd off of a budget, but this Danny guy is a hoarder. So I have admitted to being a hoarder, as you may have seen in one of my recent videos where I had to get rid of PC cases and I just have random PC cases lying around. I do need to get rid of some stuff, but for things like CPUs and graphics cards, I try to hold on to them as long as possible so that I don't have to like sell it and lose value on it and then rebuy it. Like, especially when new cards come out, and we do have a bunch of new cards apparently coming out soon, 7700 XT and 7800 XT. I don't want to have to go through the hassle of trying to quickly secure one for a good price. I just need to have it on hand ready to go. Did DeathTech drop a code? I might have missed it. Let me pull it up if you did. DeathTech. I might have missed. DeathTech, what code did you drop earlier? He said, anyone get that code yet? So the only two codes that I dropped, I think, have been redeemed. while we're waiting for that, okay, so we talked about the 7800 XT. Let's talk about the 70. And to be honest, I'm not as excited about this if it's over $600, just because I feel like that's still really expensive for a lot of people. Now, if we take a look at the, where's my article on, not my article, sorry, I did not write these articles. Oh, I have so many windows. All right, so I think it was PC World and PC Gamer who, nope, that's not it. PC World and PC Gamer that reported on this, and this was just today at 7 a.m. So today is August 9th, at least where I live. So there was a leak on the 7700 XT, and this one, so the other one was by Power Color. This one is one that people found from, it's like a Eurasian ECC website, Eurasian Economic Commissions. An import licensing page posted it. So let me see if they don't actually have the picture from it. Let's see. Was it this one? Nope, not that one. Nope, it's not that one. They didn't have the images on it. So it was just listed as a SKU. There was no pricing or anything associated with it, but we could go through a similar exercise as the 7700 or as the 7800 XT. Now we don't have all the specs to it in terms of like the core count. It's supposed to be, it's looking like it's gonna be 12 gigabytes, which is gonna be the same as last gen, so that's fine. I have no issues with it being 12 gigabytes. Other people are probably like, it needs to be 16, otherwise it's complete garbage. But again, as you guys have probably heard me say in previous streams, I don't think the VRAM issue is that bad where 12 gigabyte is considered obsolete now or anytime soon, especially for the class of card that it's going to be. I don't think you're going to be running 4K Ultra anyways. But let's take a look at where it would probably fall on this chart. Okay, so let's say the 7800 XT, just based on my guess, is it's going to be a competitor to the 4070 Ti, and it's going to be $650. Whether I'm right or wrong, we're going to have to wait and see. But we're just going to assume that. Where would it make sense for the 7700 XT to drop in relation to that, and what would the price be? So at $650, so you gotta leave room for a potential 6800 non-XT, but you also want to have a good enough price gap between the two. Like, you don't want to just gap them out $50, especially since you have to have a potential 6800 in there too, right? So I'm thinking it's $100 to $150 less. I would probably lean towards $500 if we're just gonna go on the history of like last couple of generations. So let's say $500. That's gonna put us, because the 4070 right here is $600. Do I think the 7700 XT, if it comes in at $500, 100 less than the 4070, could it compete on raster with the 4070? I think it actually could. Just looking at the numbers right here, based on 1440p Ultra, just because that's gonna be the target resolution we care about. If I had to guess, I'm thinking, $500. Right on par with this in raster. It might be a little bit below. Let's just say like it's gonna be within 5 to 10% of it at $100 less, which is a pretty significant. That's a 20% price difference going from 500 to 600. And let's take a look at the 4060 pricing real quick, or 4070 non-Ti pricing real quick. Let's see if that has moved at all. Still $600. Look at this. It has not moved in price at all. So yeah, assuming that still holds, I would say at $500 and within reach of the 4070 performance, that would be a pretty good jump. So you go from the 7900 XT to right here, 7800 XT, and then to right here. Yeah, it's gonna be floating within like 5 to 10% up, plus or minus. At $500 is my best guess. For $500, you can get 16 gigabytes of V. Oh, here's the question. I'm glad you brought that up, Brett. Okay. Let's see. Let me run the poll. So, $500 RTX 4060 Ti, 16 gigabyte model, or $500 RX 77XT, 12 gigabyte, performs identical raster. And I gotta put this in parentheses. Which would you rather buy? Because now we're talking about VRAM versus performance, right? Because VRAM does not magically just give you more like faster clock speeds or more stream processors or anything like that. So in this case, and we've seen this happen before, like previously, where you had like matching VRAM between NVIDIA and AMD, where AMD typically had the higher VRAM, but the NVIDIA card still performed better, right? So in this one, what do you care more about? Paying the same price, you're gonna get 4060 Ti performance levels with 4 more gigabytes of VRAM, or do you get the 4070 performance levels, though you have 4 gigs less of VRAM? I think there has to be a balance, right? You can't just have a card that has 16 gigs of VRAM and just doesn't come with the rest of the performance. I would gladly drop some VRAM, you know, so long as it's still reasonable to gain in other aspects of the card. JC9 says, let's be real here. We all know AMD is gonna price the 7700 XT like $600 and 7800 XT for like $700 probably. Then drop the price after a few months afterwards. I don't know. It depends. So the only way they could do that is if the 7800 XT comes in like well above the 6950 XT. Because you have to look at their previous generation. AMD hasn't shown their hand yet with regards to how they want to price current gen new releases to last gen stuff. We've seen it plenty from NVIDIA though. NVIDIA, all of their recent releases, when compared to stuff that's available now from the previous gen, they've done a poor job at it. In almost every situation, we've seen the 3000 series cards take price reductions that make them more attractive than the newly released like RTX 4060, 4060 Ti, 4070, etc. But AMD hasn't released any cards except for their, you know, the 7600 and then the 2 top-end cards. So we don't know if AMD is going to follow suit with NVIDIA or actually come out with good pricing that makes them, you know, actually like a good choice between last gen and current gen. More VRAM equals more better. In some cases, I don't know. In this one, like I think I would rather pay for the less VRAM but 4070 performance out of the 7700 XT, assuming that's the case. Ace Norim says, hey guys, for a person that is upgrading from a 1660 Super, which graphics card would you recommend for 1440p 60 FPS price range is you have up to $400. That's how much is a 6800? Let me look at this. That gets you a 6800, right? But not a 6800 XT. Let me see. 6800 refurbished, 400, so it's 450 is for, man, there's such a big price gap between the 6700 XT and 6800. So this is 450. If we look at the 6700 or 66, yeah, it's just like a 6700 XT. Yeah, see, it's over $100 price difference between the two. So it's kind of hard to answer your question, Ace. Do you care about ray tracing? If you care about ray tracing, you have to go NVIDIA. If you don't and you care more about raster, then we consider the AMD options. But this is so inconvenient because there's nothing like perfectly priced at $400. I guess unless you look in the used market to find a 6800, if you're okay with used parts. But if you want new parts, you have like the 300 and let's see what the cheapest 6750 XT is. Yeah, so you have a 6750 XT for about 350 or a 6800 for 450. There's nothing right at that $400 mark. So unless if you're willing to spend less, you would be going for the 6750 XT or 6700 XT. I would probably lean towards the 6700 because it's $30 cheaper. But you can save even more with the promo code. How much do you save? Why don't they tell us? Wait, what? Have you guys seen this before on Newegg? Save even more, but they don't tell you how much that more is. Oh, it's $10? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the 6700 and 6750 XT has been kind of the solid recommendation for a long time now. If this is actually $10 off with this promo code, this being $320 and it's the Sapphire Pulse model, I think this is the one to go for. Let me go back to the 6750X. Let me see if that one had a promo too, but so that one's a rebate. Ugh. Yeah. But you get Starfield. Ooh, does this one have Starfield? Oh, you get Starfield too. What? Okay, guys. Even if you don't care about Starfield, you can sell this code probably for at least $40, if not more, when the game comes out. You get Starfield Premium Edition. You get a $10 off on this. So it's $320 for 6700 XT plus Starfield Premium Edition. Now, there's that saying, don't pre-order games because developers have been letting us down as of late. But this isn't really pre-ordering the game. I think the card standalone by itself is worth $320 easily. To tack on this is just like free stuff. Starfield 2. Starfield also. I meant Starfield also, not Starfield 2. MSI rebate is paperless. Is it truly paperless? Because I was told that Newegg started having paperless rebates and they still wanted me to send in the barcode. I do not count if I have to cut off the UPC. Even though like you can do 90% of it online paperless, if they force you to physically mail in the UPC barcode and not allow you just to take a picture of it, I don't know. MSI has its own website for rebates. Yeah, but I'm still pretty I'm skeptical that it is truly paperless, that I don't have to send in anything. But I'd be happy to be proved wrong. Has anyone done an MSI rebate recently, and was it truly paperless, where you did not have to send in anything? Did I see that right? $100 value? Yeah, so, I mean, that's what Starfield's going to be a new AAA title, right? So that puts it at $60 to $70 by itself. Now that's the base model of the game. Usually the premium editions or whatever the extra add-on crap that you can get, which I usually never buy, that usually goes for $90 to $100 depending on what level of, you know, edition game you want. So yeah, $100. I think this is it. So hopefully we answered the person who asked the question. Ace Norm. Yeah, you purchased the 6700 XT. Nice, you bought it. That is a very solid purchase. This game is on Game Pass day one, so probably worth $20. Question about Game Pass. Are there games that have been on Game Pass from till the end of time? Like, since Game Pass opened, the game was on there and it will never be removed from the Game Pass library. So I'm not a Game Pass user myself. I probably... No, I'm lame. I like to stick to like... when I play a game, I play that one game. I don't try a huge library of different games. Though, I'm pretty sure Game Pass probably has a bunch of games that I do benchmark. But the ones that I actually sit down and play, Yeah, I probably wouldn't hop around to a bunch of different games, but yes, Xbox official games will not leave Game Pass. Okay, good to know. Thanks for that, Brett. Okay, so yeah, if Starfield is gonna be uh on Game Pass, then you could the value of the code probably goes down even more if you are a Game Pass user. Though you could always sell again, you could always sell the game code. People do that all the time. I usually for new games, I buy from people who bought graphics cards who don't need the codes. Especially if it's a game I don't care about and I just need it for testing, so. And Starfield isn't going away since Microsoft owns Bethesda, yes. Okay, good to know, good to know. It does require a hardware check, but that's easily bypassable. I was able to help mod Kevin Ngo get Diablo 3 on a cheaper key, which required NVIDIA graphics card. Because usually the person who sells it to you, they could pre-activate it for you and help you out. So there are workarounds to it, and whether or not that's legal or not is up for debate. But hey, if you own the game key to it, I feel like you should be able to do whatever you want with it. At least it was obtained more legitimately than gray market keys. Can we agree on that? Hey, what's up, Drew? Gas? What are you gasping about? I like owning my games. I don't like paying subs. So this is an interesting discussion because you don't even own your own games if you are talking about Steam, Epic, Origin, anything like that. They could just take the servers offline, delete your account, whatever they want to do, and you wouldn't have access to your games anymore. You wouldn't have access to download them. You wouldn't have access to playing them. So the only true way to own your games is if you pirate it, which I'm not. I'm not advocating for piracy or anything like that, but I'm just saying you can't say you don't really own your games. But I get what you're talking about, Ransacked. Yes, there is some more level of ownership to having like your Steam account own a game versus Game Pass, which if you don't pay the recurring subscription, you don't own it anymore. I get what you're saying. I'm giving you a hard time. Good old games it is. GOG, yeah. In GOG, you do own them. Man, I haven't logged into my GOG account in the longest time. I do have one, and I do have some games on there. But, you own the games. I mean, in a digital age, you don't truly own anything anymore if servers go down and you don't have access to downloading them. Unless you already had it on your system to begin with, right? Gotta crack them. Strange, isn't it? Yeah. Discs are still a good way if it's single player. I feel like Sony stopped making digital PS5s. I've never seen them in stores. Yeah. Some folks I know got banned from Diablo 4 from the Eternal Server Season item glitches. That's another thing too. You own the game, but you can't even play it because you got banned from it. Alright, I'm gonna end the poll. It looks like most people are in the camp of if the 7700 XT comes out at $500 and can perform at a 4070 level, they would rather take that over 4060 Ti at 16 gigabytes. And I guess that's not too surprising because charging another $100 to double the VRAM, I don't know what NVIDIA was thinking with that move with the 4060 Ti. Lol, I just pirated Baldur's Gate 3. That game just came out. Was it this week or last week, right? Today, but oh man. Baldur's Gate, it has multiplayer to it. The only thing, when you pirate, you can't play multiplayer. Unless it has like a LAN mode and then you do some virtual LAN or you play LAN. But you can't like play on official online servers with pirating. So I think that's one reason most people don't pirate in the first place. Because a lot of games are multiplayer these days, but pirates don't have friends. I've kept all my discs of games that I bought in store. I have a lot of old discs too, but they're in storage somewhere, and I don't know if there's probably a proper way you need to store them, because even CDs apparently over time they just deteriorate. Like even if you keep them in the case with like no sunlight and stuff, I think just over time they deteriorate. So there is a way of like preserving them. So yeah, if you care about your stuff, make sure to look into that. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I have not logged into my GOG account for a long time, so I need to get back there and just to see what games I could start buying from there over Steam. Though, man, as like crappy as it is that Steam has a monopoly on, you know, basically the digital games market, it is so convenient when I have to image systems to only download from one source and not have to log into. Because I still have to log into, I have my my Ubisoft account. That's where I have my Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Every time I have to log into that over Steam. And then, like, Epic Games for when I do Fortnite or, you know, any of those games. Riot client. Oh, just logging into them again is so inconvenient. That's just me being lazy, though. Obviously, it's good that there are a lot of different, you know, clients and launchers out there, but from a convenience standpoint, having one is way better. The EA launcher and UB launcher make me cringe. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Only thing I ever pirated games for was to determine if I wanted to buy it. Well, Steam has that thing too now where if you play less than 2 hours, you can return it, like, no questions asked, right? So at least there's that workaround to it. But that's only Steam, and I'm not sure if all games on Steam have that, or if, like, that has to be opted in by the developers. But yeah. Ransack says, after I got my first job, I stopped pirating games. If I can't buy it, even on the gray market for cheap, I just wait. That's a pretty good approach to it. Yeah, it's been... I mean, I feel like almost... here's a question. Server. And this isn't because I work for the FBI or, you know, the government and I'm trying to... I got you guys, but I'm just curious out there. Have you ever pirated anything? Yes or no? Even one thing. If you pirated even one thing before, you have to hit yes. I'm just curious, are there any 100% purists out there who has never ever pirated a single thing? I mean, if you... I'm expecting pretty much 100% yes. If you click no, because I saw someone just click no there, what... who... Can you, like, speak up? I just want to know which person has not pirated anything. The Mr. Clyburn, aka the Joker, never ever pirated anything. Yar, we got the Yars coming in. I mean, here's the thing. There's no shame if you had done that in the past. Maybe there's shame if you still pirate to this day, especially if you can afford it. But I'm not one to judge. We're just asking questions and probing the community here. This is all just for fun. Yes. Ooh. Does porn count? Does porn... Okay, maybe I should have specified. Because maybe now people are saying yes or no. Pirating porn. What does Pornhub count as pirating if it's officially allowed? No, actually no. Porn does count. If you illegally downloaded it, then it counts as pirating. We're drawing the line there. Yes, porn counts. Rad Robot says, I grew up in the age of Napster. Yeah. Was it Napster, LimeWire, BearShare, what was the other one? Was it WinMX? There's a bunch of different peer-to-peer sharing clients. But DC++, if you were like on a university network. Kazaa, exactly. The Pirate Bay. Oh man, didn't the Pirate Bay get taken down, but then it keeps on coming back up? Pirate Bay was the spot. And what was the other one? Was it Demonoid? That was like, you had to get invited to it? Yo, Charles, what is up? The Pirate Bay. Yeah, okay. Is the government gonna come knocking on my door if I try to do this? Wow, the piratebay.org. It is just back up? I thought they had to do this thing where they had to keep on renaming their domain because they were in trouble. So let's see. If I wanted to find Ted Lasso, could I just find this on the Pirate Bay? Yep. Look, here's all the episodes. Got plenty of Cedars and Leechers. Episodes in 720p. Oh, it's the complete season. I was wondering why it was 3.84 gigabytes. Pirate Bay will never die. What is... Can we just... Okay, never mind. I was gonna browse torrents, but I have a feeling some of the top ones might not be safe for work. So, yeah. We're just gonna leave it at that. So, yeah, Pirate Bay is still alive and kicking. In before... Hey, I did not do anything illegal on stream. I did not do anything illegal on the side during stream. So if the government wants to try to come and get me, they have no proof of anything. I've made so much money rebuilding PCs from people downloading viruses from LimeWire. You mean like removing their viruses or like reformatting their systems and stuff like that? Have you ever had to actually replace hardware, Pinky Tech, from people getting a virus that actually destroyed hardware? FBI, open up! Danny just doing an investigation, exactly. About Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Buy 3 years of Xbox Live Gold at Costco, then buy Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for 1 month. Everything converts 3 to 2. Oh! So, you're saying... Wait. What do you mean by 3 to 2? You buy 3 years of Xbox Live, then buy Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for 1 month. When you say 3 to 2, how does that work out? Or are you saying... Wait. You're saying buy 3 years of gold and then buy 1 month of ultimate. Do you then get 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate? Oh, 2. Okay, 3 years of... Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, okay. 2 years of Game Pass. Got it. It's just that 1 month threw me off. Because the 1 month doesn't convert. It just oh, I guess the 1 month, yeah, changes to the 2 years, which is pretty cool. What's the total cost of that, though? I don't even know. Is it Xbox Gold? Jeez. I have not had an Xbox Gold subscription since I had an Xbox 360 back in like 2011 or 12. Xbox Gold monthly. Xbox Gold 1 month. Wait, Game Pass I'm just trying to find out what the 1 month cost is to see what the 3 years 10 what? $10 a month or 60 a year? So 60 a year, obviously. So then for 3 years would be 180, but that might be cheaper at Costco. You can get Xbox Live Gold. That's a 3 month membership. Where's the 3 year stuff? These are the hacks to get the cheapest Game Pass subscription. Okay, so 1 year is usually $50, so that'd be at least 150 plus the 1 month of 1 month Game Pass Premium. What is that gonna cost? Game Pass Premium. Where's the premium? Oh, Ultimate, $17. So 167 is what it's gonna look like, unless Costco has it for cheaper than $50 a month or a year for the gold. 50. Yep. Okay. Got it. Yeah, Costco, dude. Costco has killer deals on like gift cards or like things like this. Like subscription plans, gift cards to local restaurants, Like, there's always at least like a 10, if not 20% off discount. If I want to, let's say, I don't know, go to Dave & Buster's for whatever reason. They'll give you like $100 of Dave & Buster's for $80. Din Tai Fung, all that stuff. So yeah, if check out Costco if you're trying to find any type of subscription plan or gift cards to anything. Might as well save yourself and get some free money. Jason Whitmer says, teach us how to pirate games safely, Danny. I'm not the person to ask that. But if anyone is a self-proclaimed pro pirater, feel free to speak up so people can come to you for the knowledge. Self-out yourself, essentially. Have you ever pirated anything? So, I'm going to end the poll. It looks like we're going to end with 88% of the people in here have pirated at least one thing in their life. But we did have 12% who said no, which a couple people did speak up about that. You don't have... Yo, Booth 732, 200 miles? Where do you live? Are you in the US by chance? I feel like Costco for the most part. I mean, yeah, I know there are like some remote places, if you live in the woods or something like that, you might not have a Costco within 200 miles, but I feel like Costco has, even like in the most remote places, they put a Costco somewhere nearby. Pikeville, Kentucky? I gotta look this up. Alright. We're gonna look on the map here. So here's Pikeville. Alright. Let's look at the nearest Costco. How do I search this area? Nearest Costco. Oh my god! Oh my... Here's Pike... where did it go? It disappeared. Here it is. So there's that. And then here's Costco. Jeez. You weren't lying. I didn't think you would lie, but... So let's see what the closest one is for you. The closest one is 3 hours. 209 miles. Okay. just out of 200 miles. Jeez. Imagine having to go 3 hours to Costco. Oof. No. Coastal point of view, Coastal Elite learns that most of USA is rural. Even if you're rural, I would think like at max 1 to 1.5 hours. 3 hours though? Alright. Who else in the chat thinks they have a Costco further than 200 miles or 3 hours from them? I wouldn't even call myself a Coastal Elite. If there's more people out in the chat that are in this situation, then yeah. But I think this is actually more of a rare case, especially for people who would probably be watching the stream. Shane Eslick, Shane's in Australia. I would think, actually, I don't know. Internationally, I would think the density of Costco's are much lower internationally, just because Costco started in the US. It started in Kirkland, Washington, but yeah. Actually, can we just look at all Costco's on this map? Costco. It's not gonna. I don't think this is gonna work. Nope. Come on. Just show on the whole map. It's not gonna do it, dang. Yeah, people with the Costco and Sam's Club where they have a choice, I think that's kind of like the dream. Though, I don't know. When we had a Sam's Club nearby, they actually closed down. Maybe it's because they didn't do as well as Costco. I've only been to Sam's Club a number of times in my life. It seemed pretty on par with Costco, though I didn't go to the food court, so maybe that's where Costco might be better. How's the Sam's Club food court, by the way? Sam's Club has some advantages over Costco. I like both for different reasons. I have a Sam's and a Costco card. Dang, Shauner, the baller over here, got 2 memberships to pay, essentially paying grocery stores. Never been to Costco, only Sam's and BJ's. Never been to Costco. There was actually a Costco really close by in Vancouver, Brett. Though it had a parking garage. That's very like inconvenient for in terms of like high density population getting like in and out of. I think that was the only Costco I've ever been to that had like a stacked parking lot as opposed to just like an open parking lot. But yeah, Sam's has more options in the food court. Oh, really? Oh, man. Where's the nearest Sam's Club to me? So, it used to be that Costco allowed you to eat food at the food court without a Costco membership. They have changed that in recent years. Probably because too many non-members were eating there. But, does Sam's Club require you to have a Sam's Club membership to eat at their food court? Johnny Stash with the best takes. Why pirate porn when you can buy it in bulk at Costco? Can you imagine if Costco sold that? Wait, what? Don't tell me that's just a Washington thing. Yeah, see? Oh, it must be a regional thing because our flat is saying Costco and Sam's both require cards to eat there. But Jason's saying in Texas where he lives, Costco doesn't require a card to eat. I think most places require a membership card to eat there now. At least all the ones I've been to in Washington, and I've been to quite a few. So one of the things that me and Melissa like to do is when we're sometimes bored and we're in a different part of Washington, we go to the Costco there just to see what the layout is like, to see, you know, what different items they have, because it does differ from store to store. So that's like a idea for like a super cheap budget date night. Go to Costco, eat dinner there, and browse and window shop. Costco is being stricter now. Sam's or Costco don't need to be carded for pharmacy or food court. And Kevin Go is from Texas. You don't require... Okay. It depends on who's at the door, really? Interesting. So, it definitely seems like it depends from store to store, region to region, or if not, then just the person at the door. But yeah, I remember this specifically because for years, I used to do this shared Costco membership thing with my roommates I used to live with, and he would be the holder of the card, so I didn't have one. And one time I went to Costco specifically just to get food because I really wanted to eat for cheap, and they stopped me at the door and said I couldn't. So that was a sad day. I was kind of embarrassed and I had to walk away. Yeah, so Chase Atwood. So people are chiming in with all different answers. Some require the membership, some don't. I would think that maybe it has to do with like a population density or like a number of customers thing. Cause like the Costco's that I would typically go to, like straight up in downtown Seattle or in like the city, the popular ones, it probably would be an issue if people are parking in the parking lots just to buy food, and like in terms of like the number of heads, you know, for maximum capacity or whatever reason, it doesn't do Costco any good to allow people to only eat the cheap food if they're not also buying other stuff there. You know that whole loss leader thing that they talk about, how Costco keeps the chicken prices so low because people go there to get the chicken, but they end up buying so much other crap? I would think that would apply to the food. If people are going there to buy, you know, $2 slice of pizza and $1.50 hot dogs and drink, it doesn't do them any good if you don't continue to shop at the store and buy other stuff. So to me, it makes sense why they started carding people. But to all you out there who live in a region where Costco does not card you or Sam's Club to eat at the food court, dang, super lucky. Costco, this man, I mean, I do live pretty close to Kirkland, Washington, where Kirkland Signature originated, so. POV, liberal coastal elite eats $2 hot dogs and gets free parking when unemployed mother of 4 parks a 10-minute walk away. I know. Most people go to the food court after they're finished shopping, yeah. Oh, no. There's quite a few people who go to the food court just to eat. Only just to eat. Costco may card you, but Nerd on a Budget will code you with $20 off of Jawa. Thanks for the reminder. Alright. Death, you haven't dropped a code recently, right? I can drop the next code. I got one code. I got 2 codes left. I'll probably save one for a different stream, but we'll do this one right here. Etsy listing. What is this listing? Oh man. Okay, Shawnra with the... This isn't his store probably, but... Could this person not have actually modeled... This doesn't look like the actual shirt. This square is too perfect. Like, they just chose generic, like, you know, stock photography and slapped this on there and put some filter, because I know for a fact this would not be this perfectly square. But anyways, if you raise the price of the effing hot dog, I will kill you. Yes, that was famously the Costco co-founder. Though to the CEO, I don't believe the original, if I don't know if I remember this correctly, but the co-founder or the original CEO is not there anymore. In some ways, I think people have been complaining about Costco quality going down ever since the original CEO stepped down. But yeah, this is actually a pretty sweet shirt. Oh, there it is. Death. Okay, I'm gonna save mine then, Death, just in case you're not here for a different stream. But Death Tech with the next code drop, LTXX. Ooh, we're just missing one more X there for some spiciness, huh, Death? LTXXQRBC9. That is the next $20 code for... Let's take a look at Jawa, since, you know, they helped out with these codes, and Death is here just chilling anyways. Let's take a look at what the pre-built gaming PC scene looks like over there. I'm gonna see what is the cheapest price PC that I would like think is worth buying, that, you know, has a good upgrade path and things like that. Because obviously it's nice to sometimes get these $35 small form factor Dell Optiplexes, but you just have nowhere to go. You have no room to grow. So I want to take a look at what is the cheapest PC that you can kind of grow with. So once you start seeing these thicker towers, that's a good sign. Though you're gonna have proprietary motherboards in here. You're gonna have like, ooh, this actually has an 80 plus. What is that power supply? That power supply, do they list it on here? Some games, okay, 240 SSD. No power supply. They do not list a power supply in here, probably because it's a really low capacity model. Dang, and you can't see from the picture. But they have a 750 Ti in here, so it probably runs off of, yep. Actually, I can't tell. That doesn't look like it's powered from the power supply. So yeah, also these, I mean, these are awesome for super cheap budget builds and stuff like that, but I'm talking about, you know, you could actually upgrade with starter build. What are we looking at here? So we can't do any Optiplexes. I think I did see a low profile 4060 released recently for those thin. Yes, yeah. You are correct. Let's see, low profile 4060, which it's funny because this is like so overkill. If you get one of these, rarely, especially with the older Optiplexes, maybe if you got like a new thin Optiplex with like, you know, a more current gen i5, i7 or like a server processor or something like that, you could pair it well with this. But a lot of those other ones are going to be bottlenecked pretty hard, especially the cheaper, more affordable ones. So I don't even know how much this one costs or if this is available. So you can see it's listed on Gigabyte's website. You can see like let's see, Anantech, The Verge, everyone's writing about it. But I want to see what it actually is listed for when it's on sale. Usually this would be, I would think, a hot commodity. I don't think it's gonna go for MSRP. I think it's gonna go for a little bit more. And if they don't have a huge stock on it, you're gonna see a lot of people buy them up, and you know, third-party sellers marking them up, because this kind of happened with the other cards too. So we'll see. Okay, so we keep going. When is the first? I think it's gonna be really hard to find something less than 300 or like even 400 bucks that gives you some customization. Here's PC Lab LLC. Here we go. Let me close all my tabs. I got like a million tabs open right now. I just hate how pricier low profile cards compared to ITX single fan GPU. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a niche market, right? Not like the amount of cards that they sell in the low profile space is gonna be way lower than just a typical standard, you know, standard width card. So the amount of engineering and R&D, I guess you could say, that had to go into not only fitting it onto like that small of a PCB, but the number that they're gonna have to sell, it is not favorable to them. So I can see why they don't keep it at the same price. I just hope it's still within reason, because Pinky Tech says low profile 4060 and an OptiFlex with a second gen i5. Yeah, imagine that. If you put a 4060 in with the i5 2400 or 2500, that's overkill. You don't need anywhere near that powerful of a graphics card to run with, you know, these older OptiFlex or HPs and stuff like that. But it looks like it's not really available anywhere. Let's see, low profile. Yeah, so low profile, look at this. 1050 Ti's are still going for 125, 1050s, 156. But it doesn't look like they're actually for sale yet. So we'll have to see what the prices are. GPU 10%, CPU 99%, exactly. Super bottleneck right there. But let's take a look at this. So this is a GTX 760, Intel Xeon 1270, 16 gigs of RAM. Okay, let's see, what motherboard? MSI B85. Okay, it's 1150 socket motherboard. Okay, 16 gigs team group, 512 gigabyte. The GPU is definitely a bit weaker than you would want to, but this is only 330 bucks. Shipping 61 bucks, so 400 bucks at the end of the day. This is a really nice looking PC. I wish there was more. Are these the same images with different RGB strips? I wish there was different angles. These are all the exact. Oh, there we go. There's only one different angle. Okay. I mean, this is definitely a step up, but the platform is still a little bit older, and I feel like spending another $100 to get into the $400 or $500 range, maybe $150. If you can do that and get within reach of like 10th gen, even if it's like an i3, I would so much more prefer that than like some of these older Xeon systems. Now, granted, this isn't like the oldest, you know, platform. This is still 1150. It's not bad, but let's see what else we can find. Dell small form factor for micro ATX with a, yeah, so an i5 12400F and a 4060 low profile. That's actually pretty legit. It depends though. 12th gen like small form factor like OEM builds, they're still pretty expensive just because the power, the motherboard and the CPU is kind of still like, you know, worth a bit. So I'm gonna keep going down. Let's see. Oh, RX. Okay. So this one, 375 shipping for me. Wow, this comes in pretty close to 400 bucks. So this has a RX 590, which we actually spoke quite a bit about earlier today, talking about Polaris, and someone who had the Fat Boy i7 6700. I had the 6700K, but I own this. So this looks like a pretty modern looking build. I mean, we're talking about what, 7-year-old processor now, 6 or 7-year-old. I forget what year this came out, but I mean, not bad at all. We're looking at 650 watt power supply, 12 gigs of RAM. That's interesting. Is that 4 sticks? No, it's 2 sticks. You got an 8 and a 4. Interesting. It looks like 2 sticks. I can't tell though. They didn't list it out specifically. 12 gigs of RAM, half a terabyte SSD. Okay, not bad. That power supply, is that a power spec? Yeah, it is a power spec power supply. Probably, I don't think it's gonna burn your house down, but it's probably not C tier or better. The power spec ones, I believe most of them are like D to E tier. How does the 6700 compare to the 10100? If I remember correctly, I think because they're both 4-core 8-thread. I think it's actually pretty comparable. I know I've looked this up before, but my tiny brain can't remember everything. So 6700 versus, this is a very common comparison, so we could find that out pretty easily. We need to find a real benchmarker though. Is this a real one? Come on. Come on. They show the settings. Okay. Oh, it's not side by side though. Yeah, so the 10100, if anything, here we go. Is this a real one? Yes. Okay. Or this is more likely to be real. So 10100, it should be better because it is newer. It has the same cores and threads. Can you imagine when Intel i7s... I feel like they kept their core counts and thread counts lower for too long. I feel like 8th and 9th gen should have gotten a bigger boost than they actually did. That they got when they went to 10th gen. But alright, so here's Cyberpunk. Okay, it's the 88102. So it's actually noticeably better, like 15% is what it's looking like. Some games is closer than others, but yeah, 151 versus 168. And it's just way better when you have the newer platform, because the i7 being on, I forgot what socket it is. 11, was this 1151? Whatever the LGA socket was, you're pretty much maxed out here. You're not going to be improving that much more here. But on the i3 system, on the 10th gen platform, this is the starting point. You could go up to an i5 or an i7. Yeah. So, I mean, for this one, I don't think the price of this is that bad, though, given that, I mean, you're paying for shipping, but in terms of what the seller is selling it for, they're not making a ton of money off of this, and it has, you know, a solid graphics card in it. It has something that's a little bit weaker than an i3 10100. You're not going to be able to upgrade, unfortunately, but everything else looks pretty decent. So, is this the cheapest, like, system that I could recommend? Oh, this one also has a... This is by Baller Built PC. You think they watched Zach's Tech Turf? Baller Built PC. i7 6700, RX 480, so worse than the 590. 16 gigs of RAM though. Smaller. Oh, actually no, they have 756 gigabytes SSD. And NZXT case. What power supply? Did they not list it? They do have extension cables, I guess, if you care about that. No power cord, wide extensions. Yeah, I wonder if this is like a really bad power supply. They didn't. Oh no, I'm blind. CX 600 BR. Which model was that one? I remember the CX650 and CX600, but was there a BR specific? Or are they just saying BR for the bronze? If it's this one, which I think it actually is, not the M1, then okay. These were actually like B tier, I think. They're old, but it works. Okay, is there anything else within reach of this with like newer i5 7400? So these are all very similar. See, so we're seeing a bunch of $370-ish builds with like the 6th or 7th gen i7, or well, this is the i5, and the RX 480 or 580, 590-ish. Whoa, 1 terabyte, no SSD in this one? Storage. 1 terabyte only. Wow, no SSD. The thing about this is, even if someone who bought this knew what they're doing and can buy, like, let's say a smaller SSD to throw in here, they would want to re-image or clone, which is, you know, doing more work in itself to the boot drive, because right now the OS is on the spinning hard drive. Yeah, this is a tough one. It does have the 7th gen in there, but all right, so we keep going. I mean, the 590 one wasn't bad in my opinion. Yeah, 12 gigs of RAM is weird, but that's not gonna give you like Stutterfest City when you're playing games. I'm trying to find, like, what is this one right here? We've got a 1660 Super Ryzen 3100. Hey, here we go. All right, 1 terabyte NVMe. Who is this from? Cherry Grove. So what do I like about this system? Well, it's got a B450 motherboard, which after you BIOS update, you can pretty much run with up to, like, if you want to throw in a 5600X or something like that, 5800X3D, you can do so. So tons of upgrade potential. That's what's nice about if you went AM4 with AMD. 16 gigs of RAM, okay, that's, you know, pretty standard. 1 terabyte NVMe, this is nice. It's from the 11 brand. I think this is one of the cheaper budget Amazon brands, which, I mean, you're talking about a $400 build here with $30 shipping. This is not bad at all. The case isn't the best case out there. I built in this one. It's pretty, like, look, this is when Cooler Master was still, like, I don't know. Tempered glass cases existed at this time, but for whatever reason, Cooler Master decided to make this little notch design where it would be very difficult to put tempered glass on here because you would have to cut the glass. You can't use a square piece. So then they went with acrylic glass with this case. There's no power supply basement. It's pretty tight in here. It's not dual chamber, so you're very limited with how much space you have in the back. The case isn't the best out there, but for these specs, 1660 Super, Ryzen 3100, 16 gigs and 1 terabyte, this isn't that bad. You can use the welcome code 10. I wonder if that stacks with the $20 discount that Death has been giving. But I mean, Thermalright Assassin cooler. And you have to remember, these are from sellers who are looking to make money off of how much their labor, right? So yeah, you could buy all these parts individually cheaper, but that's not the point of pre-builds. The point of pre-builds is to spend like 50 to 100 bucks for someone else to find all the parts for you, install it, test it to make sure it works fine, install Windows for you, all of that. But yeah, exactly. Okay, so the codes don't stack. Shauner says lame, but I get it. Here's the thing. Jawa is still a relatively new website. They are venture funded, but they've been giving out a lot of discount codes. They've had a lot of discount promos. They've had a bunch of different stuff. They've given away a bunch of free stuff. Like, they are still at the point where they have to still make money. So don't expect to just completely get all your, like, the most amazing deals and all the discounts and stuff like that from them at this point in time. They're still growing. They're still growing markets even. Death, any updates about the Canada expansion at least, or the North America? Because yeah, I'm sure like the user base, obviously it's in the US for the most part, but if it can expand to other countries, I think it's going to be hard to expand. Like, Canada is the next one, makes the most sense. But beyond Canada, I don't even know what the next target country is, because there's no point in expanding and putting in the work and the infrastructure if there's not going to be users for it, right? And what country after North America and Canada would Jawa open to that you guys think would have the best, like, usership? I got a kid to feed. No updates yet, but I'm working on it. Okay, yeah, so you heard from Death himself. He's working on it, which I believe him. The man works hard, so yeah. I wish that Cooler Master case had a PSU bay / compartment. Yeah, that's the issue with this. I mean, I built in this case. It was, for the longest time, only like 40 bucks brand new. So it was a very popular budget case, but there's a reason it was that cheap. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty, like, in terms of the cheapest build we could find at 400 right here, I think this is a pretty solid contender. Everything else, I mean, let's take a look. What does this have for 425? All right. Ooh, 5700 XT. Let's see. It has a Xeon on it. So in terms of what you could actually, let me take a look at this. For 425, you're getting a, well, this system's actually pretty nice too. It's got a Montech case. So yeah, you see how, like, this is what I was saying earlier. We didn't have to spend another whole $100. Just even that $50 price difference breaks you into like that next tier of category, going from like pre-built and, you know, Optiplex OEMs and stuff like that into actual individually pieced together builds with, I mean, a noticeable performance bump. Remember earlier, some of those Optiplexes, they were at 370 or whatever. Not the 370 ones, but the even cheaper ones, they were having like 760s and things like that. This has a 5700 XT. This alone is worth like $120 about. 120 to 140. So yeah, this was, let me see. Just make sure everything else is right. 24 gigs of DDR3. So again, it is going to be on an older platform. Upgradability is going to be kind of questionable, but it's got 1.5 terabytes of storage. It does have at least half of that in an SSD. Montech Air. Yeah, I mean, everything else. The only reason why I might still choose this Ryzen system over it is just because of this. Like that DDR3 RAM and the older platform. Some people may be okay with it, but going AM4, I feel like it's so... AM4 has such, like, a wide variety of upgrade paths and potential that you can take. The $400 range is the sweet spot. Yeah, I mean, honestly, once you reach the $400 threshold, from 400 to 500 to 600, oh my god. Like, if I kept looking, which I kind of have to stop now because we've been over 2 hours into stream, but let's just keep looking, right? So we're starting to get into $500 territory. Once you get to $500 to $600, I feel like that's the cream of the crop of builds at Jawa. Look, we'll just scroll here: 530, 540, 540, 540, 549, 550. So within this price bracket, we're seeing really close increments of increase in like dollar amount. And then look, 9600K with 1070. Let's see. This one has a 1200, so a little bit weak. 10400 F60. Look at this one. $565 for a 10400F 6600 XT. That's pretty sweet. 1 terabyte SSD, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Well, this is a weird though. Why would you put the OS on the 128 gigabyte drive though? I mean, I guess that makes sense if you wanted to use it because you still have the other SSD. I guess you could separate your OS if you want. I personally would prefer to have the OS on the same drive that I'm installing my programs and games on. But yeah, look at this deal. This is from Skeeter Tech. Looks like they do not have... Let's see what they have. Make sure they're not a scammer. Yeah, they've sold things. They have 4 followers. They have multiple things for sale. So, nobody... Can people... People need to rate this person just to help them out in terms of their profile. They have no rating. So, if you buy something on Jawa, please leave a rating. Whether it be good or bad, just leave a rating. So it just shows that, you know, the person has sold something successfully. But yeah, look at this. Oh, so we see it in the same Cooler Master case. Or if this isn't the same one, then it's the slightly bigger version. What? Let me see. Case. Where's the case? Where's the case? Do they not list it on here? Q300L. So it is the same version. This one does have an AIO. Brand new EVGA AIO and Noctua fans. Dude. The specs. Look at this. This card is super solid. Or this PC is super solid. Leave a rating or I'll find you. Yo, Death, is there a thing to remind buyers to leave a rating? Yeah, see, so once 400 to 600, definitely sweet spot to get started in PC gaming. I would easily recommend this. Like, if anyone in chat looking for a gaming PC right now, because this is the one. I mean, I'm sure there might be like more. There might be other ones that are comparable to it, but even without looking at any more, I could say this one is worth the money. Jawa does not collect social security numbers, but to get paid from Jawa, they use Stripe. And yes, you have to give your social security number for that. Melissa says, hi, food time, please. Yes, we do need to figure out food for tonight. So this is the last 5 to 10 minutes of chat. And then I go get spanked by Melissa. No, I'm just kidding. That didn't come out right. But we gotta go figure out food so that she doesn't get hangry at me. So... yeah, I know. Jason Whitmer is the only one who can spank me. Y'all want to see what Jason did to me at LTX? Let me see if I can pull it up. Look at this man! I was violated by Jason. This is me trying to fix the seatbelt in my car at LTX. And unbeknownst to me, Jason comes in and violates me. Oh my god, Jason. But yeah. Alright, so yeah. I have 2 more Jawa codes. We'll save it for a future stream. And Death, thank you for stopping by the, you know, keeping the chat going, as well as dropping some more codes, helping all the other budget PC gamers out. Chat, we didn't even have to pay $5.99 a month for that. I know. Dude, when I start my OnlyFans, it's gonna have some premium content on it. What is bro saying? I said nothing. Cut that out. No, are you coming to PAX at all? Wait, Drew, are you going to PAX? So, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to PAX. If I go to PAX, honestly, it'll be primarily to make content. I really like doing the interview. Oh, I need to plug myself. Not like that. Oh my god. Why? Why did it come out like that? I need to plug my own content is what I mean. If y'all haven't been checking out the shorts content, I'm really trying to step up my shorts game, because I've seen my other content creator friends, they've been flourishing with their shorts content, so I'm trying to do the same. Like, I know Brett and Zach, they both do like tech news type of shorts. I might do that eventually. I don't want to copy them, but then again, like, I'm sure plenty of people do news type content, so it wouldn't be copying. But I already have a bunch of pre-filmed content from stuff I've made, like this one, for example. Or so these shorts, it's muted, but I'm basically converting like a bunch. I've interviewed so many people about what they have in their systems, NVIDIA versus AMD. That's all, like, I feel like pretty good shorts content. You know, it's real gamers out there talking about what they have in their systems and their preferences and stuff. So I've been working through that, and I'm trying to release shorts at least like a couple of times a week. Here's the one that I did with Captain Falcon, the cosplayer. He talked about how he only had NVIDIA. So I think some of these discussions are really good just to like watch and share. So hopefully that helps, you know, in terms of discoverability on the channel and all that stuff like that. But if y'all haven't checked out the shorts content yet, please be sure to check it out. Drew says, yeah, I'll be there. Okay, for at least one day, bro, please. I mean, PAX tickets, honestly, they're for one day, it's not too expensive. I'll think about it. I can't commit yet, but I do want to go so that I could, you know, make some more content while there. I actually might be able to go for free. I wonder if PAX closed off the media badge thing. If I can get a media badge for free, then that's like a no-brainer. I'll for sure go. But yeah, thanks for the reminder. That I'll think about it a little bit more. No PAX for you, but maybe CES next year. Okay. Yeah, dude, I need to go to CES. I need to go to CES at least once. I need to go to Computex, which is way crazier because it's on the other side of the world at least once. We'll see if I can make that happen next year. Yo, Jason, Can that be a business expense? Is there anything that you could do up there that can make it worth the trip for your channel? I know it's tough because you're going to Japan and stuff and China, so it's like that's way so much. And you just went to LTX. That's so much traveling within like, you know, the span of a few months. Yeah. Considering how poorly the LTX videos did, but the shorts, you're pumping out way more shorts content still, so the shorts might be like, in terms of discoverability, it might be worth the investment. And also, yeah, you would have to think of like, what can you make at PAX that could be viral or like do really well. But it does help that you do want to just demo games too. So it's like a partially leisure trip and partially a work trip if you do go. But yeah, I know it's tough for you. Depends on how much of a cut, dude. Yeah, I was gonna ask, does anyone on here subscribe to any kind of OnlyFans? But I don't think people are gonna be honest about that, so I'm not gonna even bother asking. Yes, Melissa is waiting for that food. I said 5 to 10 minutes though, so a couple more minutes and then we're gonna be done here. Let's see. In terms of upcoming content, I'm still cranking through the LTX stuff. It's just because when you interview like 100 people, that's a lot of footage to go through and chop up to make like down to a short video. So there's that. I do have, like, I'm gonna upgrade my PC, go all Intel. I still need to throw that Arc A770 in there, but I want to film it all, so that's being delayed because I'm trying to do all this other stuff. Still gotta get that LAN party, LAN party stories from March out. Man, like, what am I doing? Too many things have taken priority and shifted my priorities around. But I mean, if you're looking for the LAN party story content, do know that there's one, like, the footage is in the queue. It just needs to get edited down. It is from, where's the latest one that I had? Oh, did I not put it on here yet? I don't subscribe to anything about my rent, internet, phone, and electricity. True. AV1, yeah, so I'm looking forward to it because then I will be able to encode, because I'm running on the RX 6600 right now. That is in my main rig. It's been like that for months now. So yeah, going to the Intel and actually using it, not just to benchmark and like to test out, but to use it as a daily driver, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to potentially weird random crashes and bugs that people have talked about, though I think Intel has, for the most part, tweaked those out, so yeah. Are you going to go Intel? Yeah, I'm going to go Arc A770, and I still have the 12700K in my system, so yeah. But yeah, LAN party stories being worked on. This is Jan's new house, new environment, so I think it should be a pretty fun video. There was more people here. They were just sleeping or not in the house when we took the picture. Unfortunately, Sean was sitting right here, and Meg, here's her computer, but she was taking a nap. So next time, I just need to make sure we get everybody in the group picture. I might have to Photoshop them in. Yo, there's Jan himself, his house. And then the next LAN party that is actually happening is happening back at my place in September. So I gotta get this one out ASAP so that it gets out before we have the next LAN party. It'll be the hype video for the next LAN party, so yeah. The LAN being at your house equal baller setup. This would make for a very, very clean thumbnail. I spaced it so I could put LAN party stories right here on the top with like winter or spring 2023 right here. So yeah, yes, that was all planned out. But all right, that is the updates with me. I want to thank you all, as always, for another successful stream. Thank you for everyone for coming out, all the regulars. I don't know if there's any. I think there were some new names in there. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, if we met at LTX, or if you just found my channel just recently, these streams happen every single Wednesday, 5 p.m. PDT. If not, then I usually put out a notification ahead of time. If you want to join the Discord, it's still a pretty small, chill Discord. I try to be in there as much as I can, but if I'm not there, at least there's other like-minded nerds to talk to about PC tech. Links to the Discord is down in the description of this stream description right here. So join in there and you can catch me throughout the week. I post like when videos go live there, as well as just randomly hang out and do things in there. But yeah, hope everyone has a great rest of your week coming up. Have a great weekend. And new video should be out within the next day or two. And yeah, other than that, see you in the comments of the next video, in the Discord, or in the next stream. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.